Hey, amazing people. It's a beautiful Sunday, and I did miss Friday. Forgive me. But I'm back. I'm not going to give up. Some days just get really rough. And because Thursday we had back to school night, so I was at work from 5 a.m. to almost 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m. And then it was my grandson's birthday. So some of the things that I was supposed to do for my class on Friday after school, I didn't get done on, well, I was supposed to do it on Thursday. I didn't get it done on Thursday. So Friday, I had to not only do some of the things to prepare for this week coming up, but I needed to do a lot of other things too. So I by 11 o'clock, I was exhausted. However, I'm back. I'm going to try this new thing where I just change shirts and take like on a Saturday and read for the whole week, but just put them out on those days. And I just change my shirt so you think it's a different day and change my glasses. So let's see if that works next week. Anywho, let's get started. We are still in The Power of Now, a guide to spiritual enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. And I am grateful to have the ability to have a voice to even read this book, to be able to have eyes to see the words on the page, to have a mind to want to do this. Gratitude is the only attitude I will have from this point out. And when life brings me some things that I'm not grateful for, I will figure out how to get back to gratefulness. If you set a goal and work toward it, you are using clock time. You are aware of where you want to go, but you honor and give your fullest attention to the step that you are taking at this moment. If you then become excessively focused on the goal, perhaps because you are seeking happiness, fulfillment, or a more complete sense of self in it, the now is no longer honored. It becomes reduced to a mere stepping stone to the future with no intrinsic value. My grandson, come and say hi, and you gotta go downstairs. My grandson came upstairs.
Hi.
He has on his skeleton pajamas. So go back downstairs. I'll be down there in a little bit. I just need to finish reading. That's another thing for me to be grateful for. I have 2 grandbabies, 4 children, 2 grandbabies. So I don't get annoyed when he comes in or anybody comes in when I'm doing this, because in my mind, that's my family. Not in my mind. In my reality, that's my family, and they mean everything to me. Your life's journey is no longer an adventure, just an obsessive need to arrive, to attain, to make it. You no longer see or smell the flowers by the wayside either, nor are you aware of the beauty and the miracle of life that unfolds all around you when you are present in the now. And now that I've been being present, I see so much stuff that I would have missed thinking about the past or worrying about the future, but staying right in the now moment. Even the other day when the now moment had something kind of gritty and ugly, I stayed in that now moment. I can see the supreme importance of the now, but I cannot quite go along with you when you say that time is a complete illusion. When I say time is an illusion, my intention is not to make a philosophical statement. I'm just reminding you of a simple fact, a fact so obvious that you may find it hard to grasp and may even find it meaningless. But once fully realized, it can cut like a sword through all the mind-created layers of complexity and problems. Let me say it again. The present moment is all you ever have. There is never a time when your life is not this moment. Is this not a fact? The insanity of psychological time. You will not have any doubt that psychological time is a mental disease if you look at its collective manifestations. They occur, for example, in the form of ideologies such as communism, national socialism, or any nationalism, or rigid religious belief systems, which operate under the implicit assumption that the highest good lies in the future and that therefore the ends justifies the means, and that your way is the only way. Because everybody is different. So if everybody is different, perhaps they have a different way. At least that's how I see it. The end is an idea, a point in the mind projected future, when salvation in whatever form, happiness, fulfillment, equality, liberation, and so on will be attained. Not infrequently, the means of getting there are the enslavement, torture, and murder of people in the present. So we say things like, you're going to get yours in the glory and the by and by. You know, you're going to go through a lot of stuff here, but your prize is waiting for you on the other side. No, your prize is here. When you get through, it is the other side of through that issue while you're still here. Because when you let go of your body, even if you say, well, I believe in souls, the body is in that ground. And the soul doesn't have a tangible thing to touch. So how are you burning forever with nothing to touch? It just doesn't make sense. And I'm not judging anybody for believing that, but for me, I don't believe that. For example, it is estimated that as many as 50 million people were murdered to further the cause of communism, to bring about a better world in Russia, China, and other countries. This is a chilling example of how belief in a future heaven creates a present hell. My daughter's yelling at the dog. Can there be any doubt that psychological time is a serious and dangerous mental illness? How does this mind pattern operate in your life? You ever notice how no books ever touch slavery? The atrocities that happened to us. They'll talk about the Holocaust. He's even talking about communism, but nobody talks about the effects of slavery on the people. Oh, get over it. That was 400 years ago. That was over 100 years ago. It was over 400 years of torture, mental, physical, emotional. It was terrible, and it's in my DNA. Now, as I grow, I'm releasing it, but there are times like I can't be on a swing, and I believe I can't be on a swing because either the soul that is Tracy was hung, and I'm remembering it, or somebody in my DNA was hung, and that swinging back and forth, I can't take it. I'm not making it up when I tell you I literally threw up one time when I was watching somebody swing and they got it really high. I got really sick and I threw up. That was when I was 20 something years old. My children never went to a playground with me. I'm not playing. I just like, no. Well, not never. If I went to a playground, it was because it had other stuff there, and the playground was over in the midst somewhere. And my oldest son said, Mommy, I don't like swings either. And it's because of me. I put that in him. My youngest daughter, she'll get on a swing though. Okay, where's that? How does this mind pattern operate in your life? Are you always trying to get somewhere other than where you are? I used to be like that. But now that I'm enjoying the now and the present moment I'm in, there's so much more to life. So as I lose the weight that I gained trying to be in the past, and I say that because I was living in a situation that really broke me down, and I was still living in it. So I was subconsciously eating and not exercising as much. But when I came to the present moment and looked in the mirror, I said, what the fuck? No, Tracy, this ain't you. And you can't fit them clothes. So I am back on the path, and it's coming along. I have a walking treadmill at work, and I have 3 blocks that I have students in, and 1 planning block. When I get in there in the morning, I do 20 minutes of just a nice brisk walk, and then each block, their warm-up is my warm-up. They're warming up with the work that we're going to do today. It's like different little things that I've given them to do that prepares them for the day. It takes them 20 minutes to get through it. I'm on the treadmill for 20 minutes, 3 blocks. And then in the evening, when it's time to release them, but because the situation with our buses, we have to keep some children back for the second wave of buses, I am on that treadmill again. And then I go to the gym. So I'll get that weight off. Oh, you better bet it. Some of it's already coming off. Anyhow, where was I at? Okay. Is most of your doing just a means to an end? I used to be like that, and you probably did too. So you go to work to get a paycheck. So you go to work all day just to get a paycheck, just to go, Friday, it's Friday. And that's not living. But now that I live in each moment, every day brings something so magical that I stay in that day and in that moment. And even when I had a rough situation in my classroom where a student attacked another student and I got punched in the boob. Not trying to break up the fight, but trying to get to the emergency button that I remembered, oh my God, it's not plugged up yet. So I was running to the door to open the door to yell out. And the student that was the antagonist, now you want to run from somebody after you told them to shut up, bitch. Now you want to run. And I didn't see any of this or hear any of this. I just saw the punching and the motion, and I'm trying to calm everything down. My students are scared. Anyway, long story long, I ended up trying to usher him out the room so that the student that was attacking him would have a moment to just calm down over by my desk where he was. But he flipped the desk over, broke my laptop, so I got to get another laptop. School issue, but they got to give me another one. And when he went to swing, the other child grabbed me like a human shield and ran and got behind me. And so the punch was already coming, and he punched my arm and my boob. I got a little boob punch. But later that day, so in that moment, I was shaking. I was nervous. I got to the door. I yelled for help, and I call him Batman, one of the assistant principals. One of the counselors, his office is across, and he ran, and I said, could you just get such and such child, get him out of here, because I felt like the other child, I'm not going to say names, would calm down. But that child literally looked like he didn't have no soul. He looked, whatever is happening in his life, all I could do is pray for him. He did not mean to hit me. He felt so bad that he hit me. He started punching a wall, a concrete wall. So I'm telling him to stop. It's okay. I know you didn't mean to hit me. Then the assistant principal that I call Batman came. I didn't even see where he came from, but there he was. And then they, took care of the situation. I say all that to say I was in that moment. I felt the boob punch. I felt the energy of me trying to hurry up and get over to the door to let them get one child. And then later that day, the cheerleaders was like, Miss Beckwith, we want you to see our cheer. And it was so amazing. And one of the cheerleading coaches, that's a friend of mine, she said, it was worth the boob punch. I was like, yeah, it was. It was worth the boob punch. Today was good. So I said all of that to say, and I said it pretty fast because I want to stay under a certain time, and I'm not even reading, I'm talking. But this is what's happening in the now moment. I was in the present moment when I got punched in the boob. And I was in the present moment when I could smile at those cheerleaders doing their thing, because my school gets a bad rap, but we got some amazing children. And the day before had just been that atrocious shooting in Georgia. So a lot of my students were scared and they got up under the desk, which, that was a mess. Okay, so let me go back. Where was I at? I said all of that. Thank you guys for listening. I do appreciate you guys. You're a part of my life now. We's family now. You can't go nowhere. Family stays with family. Is fulfillment always just around the corner or confined to short-lived pleasures such as sex, food, drink, drugs, or thrills and excitement? Are you always focused on becoming, achieving, and attaining, or alternatively chasing some new thrill or pleasure? Used to be me. Do you believe that if you acquire more things, you will become more fulfilled, good enough, or psychologically complete? At one point in my life, I had 232 pair of shoes. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to brag. 232 pair of shoes, and they were not cheap. 232 pair of shoes is what I had. I had two in the house. We used to have a 3,500 square foot house. I had 2 rooms full of my clothes. I was in the thick of a terrible space, and I was buying stuff instead of dealing with it. Yeah. But I had to go through all of that because I wouldn't be the woman I am today had I not gone through trying to hide from the situation and deal with it and know that sometimes things just don't work and you have to walk away from people. You just have to do it. And no matter who they are, whether it's your mother, your father, your spouse, your child, if the relationship has become so toxic, you got to let it go for your own self. You're not letting it go so you can punish them. You're letting it go so you can stop punishing yourself. All right. Do you believe that if you acquire more things, you will become more fulfilled, good enough, or psychologically complete? Are you waiting for a man or a woman to give you meaning to your life? That's not going to happen. Marriage doesn't give you meaning to your life. You give meaning to marriage with your life. Ooh, that was good. I just thought of that. Let's say it again. I said, marriage doesn't give you meaning to your life. You give meaning to your marriage by living your life. I probably didn't say it the same way, but you know what I'm saying. In the normal, mind-identified, or unenlightened state of consciousness, the power and infinite creative potential that lie concealed in the now are completely obscured by the psychological time. Your life then loses its vibrancy, its freshness, its sense of wonder. The old patterns of thought, emotion, behavior, reaction, and desire are acted out in endless repeat performances, a script in your mind that gives you an identity of sorts, but distorts or covers up the reality of the now. The mind then creates an obsession with the future as an escape from the unsatisfactory present. So we say things like, money is coming to me. No. Because it always be coming. Coming means it's not there. So I don't say that anymore. I say money is here. Money is right here. And then I look at my bank account and go, well, money must didn't hear me. Okay, but money is here. I'm grateful. All right, we're going to finish this last page, 60, and then I'm going to save this rest. Negativity and suffering have their roots in time. But the belief that the future will be better than the present is not always an illusion. The present can be dreadful and things can get better in the future, and often they do. That's the person asking the question. Well, the person saying to him. But the belief that the future will be better than the present is not always an illusion. The present can be dreadful, and things can get better in the future, and often they do. But by the time they get better, it's not the future, it's the now. I think the whole point of the book is there's never a past or a future, there's always the now. So right now you're living in a dreadful space, that's the now. When it gets better, it's still now. It's not better in the future, it's better now. Usually the future is a replica of the past. Superficial changes are possible, but real transformation is rare and depends upon whether you can become present enough to dissolve the past by accessing the power of now. What you perceive as future is an intrinsic part of your state of consciousness now. If your mind carries a heavy burden of past, you will experience more of the same. That's why that song Beyonce, to the left, and she says, I can have another you in a minute. Will she want another one of that fool? No, she don't. She wants something different. But what usually happens is we get rid of one person only to get them again in a different body. Maybe a better looking body, but it's the same person in the mind. The goal is to rid yourself of the how you attracted that person to you. And you got to do the hard work for that. It's not going to happen overnight unless you are somebody that can like alchemy like a motherfucker and be like, you know what? I don't want this anymore and I'm done. And there are people who can do that. Most people are not those people. But if you are that people, then you can do that. But most people need time to first figure out how they got themselves in that situation. What does this person represent from their past that they're bringing in the now? Like when you were growing up, where you told things about yourself and then you found a person that would help you say, yep, this is true. Like growing up in Virginia, being dark skinned and a little chubba, I was told I was fat and black. I remember this guy, he used to call me a UFO, an unidentified fat object. I can laugh at it now. A UFO, an unidentified fat object. That's what he called me. Well, that motherfucker spent 25 years in jail. So, Anywho, when I saw him again after he spent his bid, done his bid, I remember I was getting my Mercedes washed. You heard me. I was getting my Mercedes R350 washed at the car wash. And he came out and he said, Tracy Coppage. And I turned around and I said, Robert Banks. He said, oh my God, you look good. He did not look good. He was missing a few teeth first. He just looked a hot mess. Anyway, he was like, oh, it's good to see you turned out well. What the fuck you mean it's good to see I turned out well? Because you called me a UFO. I was supposed to turn out bad because you. And even though he did hurt my feelings when he said that, what it made me do is to basically start on the path of bulimia, where I barely would eat, throw it up, take laxatives, do all of that to get to the place where I think I had an eating disorder that you don't identify as an eating disorder. You just feel like you just stay on a perpetual diet. I was on a diet from the time I was 17 to 38. Anywho, his statement calling me a UFO, an unidentified fat object, left me with some low self-esteem. And I would meet men even when I looked damn good. And not that being fat means you don't look good. I'm not saying at all. But I would meet men and I would allow them to treat me with that fat girl syndrome, where you're just so happy somebody's around you. You just so happy. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I wasn't running around. I never spent no money on nobody. Never, ever. I was not that girl. I wasn't that fat. And I'm not saying, so I got to be careful because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But what I'm saying is I wasn't that far gone that I was giving niggas my money. Wasn't doing that. Anywho, what did I say all that to say? I think that memory just came back up. Oh, I was talking about how I then attracted people that made me feel bad about myself. I remember I dated this guy and he said, you look like a crackhead. You need to eat. And I'm like, I don't look like no crackhead. He said, when the last time you ate? I haven't seen you eat. We have been dating for a while. And I said, well, I haven't been hungry. I eat when I'm hungry. He said, you should be hungry every day. And you look like a crackhead. You got a bobble head. Your head's too big for your body. I'm like, I think I look good. He said, no, you don't. You look better with a little weight on your body. So he was the opposite of the unidentified fat object. Anywho, let me get back to this. I enjoy you guys so much. It's like my little Tracy hour. Come get to know Tracy. Tracy's reading the book and telling you all her little business. Okay, where was I at? You may win $10 million, but that kind of change is no more than skin deep. Well, let's just see. Give me the $10 million. I'll tell you what is skin deep or not. You would simply continue to act out the same conditioned patterns in a more luxurious surroundings. Humans have learned to split the atom. Instead of killing 10 or 20 people with a wooden club, one person can now kill 1,000,000 people just by pushing a button. Is that real change? Nope. If it is the quality of your consciousness at this moment that determines the future, then what is it that determines the quality of your consciousness? Your degree of presence. So the only place where true change can occur and where the past can be dissolved is in the now. And I want to thank you for indulging me for 20 minutes. And I really didn't do a lot of reading of the book, but I appreciate you. This book is really phenomenal. And I'm not reading ahead. I'm reading with you and taking it in. But I am going to go back and read it again on my own. Because it is, we're going to get to at one point, Addiction and the Search for Wholeness. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, whether I read the whole book, because that's a whole lot of videos, or if I just pick parts and keep one book for a week and switch to another book and you get the book and read it for your damn self, the whole book. I'm not sure what to do right now. I'm going to let Spirit guide me and lead me, but I'm grateful for this book, The Power of Now. I'm grateful for this time. I'm grateful for this week. I'm grateful for this life. I'm grateful for everything. So you go and have an amazing day. And if you have never done this, let me just tell you something that I do. This is right here. This book, it works. Asking is given, seeking you shall find, knocking the door will be open. What I do is I write down some things that I believe are there and I want them to go ahead and come in the now moment. I write them down in the present moment, and I can guarantee you, I can tell you that if you do this, these things will come true. I tear out the pages as they come true, and look at all those pages that are torn out, because they do come true. So I'm just manifesting like a motherfucker, and you can do the same. So get yourself, I made this little thing because I was like just learning how to sublimate, and I just put this on here just to kind of look. I could do much better now. But anywho, make yourself a little book and put it works on the front, and on the back, asking it is given, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be open. Write in it, and then in the morning and before you go to bed, look over it, say it out loud. See yourself with it, visualize it, and watch it come in the now. I will talk to you guys. See you guys soon. Bye.